So the next match is already underway. Zeon continuing, potentially sweeping Team SH, going up against Zeon, who has Minerva Sleeps. I think this is the Regalia player. No, Jewel Knights. Cece's next, isn't she? If Zeon doesn't win this, Cece's gonna have a mirror match. But Zeon has been doing well so far, so we have to see what happens. Call rides the Tracy and calls Sword Me. Sword Me brings out the limit remover, so we can see an early limit break on the next turn. Zeon gets an early heal trigger. Breeds a critical trigger, so the guard doesn't change, but Zeon doesn't block it anyway. 2 criticals out of Zeon's deck now. Kind of problematic considering that decreases how many times he's going to be doing. It changes how many criticals he's going to be getting throughout the rest of this match because he does not have Legion. Zeon attacks Sword Me. Not sure why he's not going for the Vanguard, but he could always know something that I don't. And Zeon really wants to keep it, so he 1-passes. Zeon doesn't get it, though. The fact that he wanted to guard that so badly might have been why Zeon attacked the rear. Because Jewel Knights do need rear guards. And without Counterblast, they can't refill what they don't have, what they lose. Rides Ultimail, calls Ashley Reverse. That puts 4 Jewel Knights on the field, meaning Jewel Knight abilities activate. Most Jewel Knights, their abilities activate based on how many Jewel Knights are on the field. And Zeon is, luckily he heals. Apparently a double trigger happened that I missed. What was the first one? Noble Stinger and Hirumi? Oh, Hirumi is the heal trigger. So heal and crit. Okay. Zeon decides to take the attack, puts himself at 5. He locks his opponent out of heal triggering, but now he's in a tough spot as well. So let's see what he decides to do. Uses skill on Orthea. Misclicks galore. First attack is to sword me. Sutasha to the Vanguard. And keep in mind, its ability won't activate unless he attacks the Vanguard, so he does attack the Vanguard. Doesn't hit, but it does restand. It gains 2k, so if it attacks from the back row again, it's 11k. The Vanguard attacks. Zeon wondering if he should guard, because if he doesn't guard, then his opponent will get a free draw out of it. So 41k, 3 to pass. Doesn't even get 1. So 11 to the rear. So now we see Stride. Striding into Godblade. Zeon needs to guard this. has a perfect guard ready for it, and Zeon gets a crit. Only 5k to block, no matter what Zeon targets. Goes for the rear, and it's blocked. If that was on, and he has the ability to, I would actually touch a drive. But it seems like he doesn't have the ability to, so he goes into Lambros instead. So first attack is 9k at the Vanguard, which is not hit, which doesn't hit. Second attack is also 9k at the Vanguard. I mean, not the Vanguard, the rear guard. Fourth attack to the Vanguard, so flip up, restand, and both gain 10k. Draw trigger on the triple check. Doesn't give anything to the 4k unit. Instead goes 19 at the Vanguard. And now 24 followed by 19 at the Vanguard. Restand and 19 more. And Zane is having a lot of mouse issues. So I said in the Falsebound Kingdom commentary that there was someone on DS who did have some mouse issues now and again. Zane was the person. I kept thinking that's who I was thinking about, but had to be sure. Rides in Saint Blow. Doesn't have any field though. Uses Counterblast for Ultimail to call 2 units. Brings out Twin Sword and Rachel. That's enough to get the extra critical for Saint Blow. But the power up isn't going to be much. Not to mention that Heloise doesn't get its extra 3k power. Although Zane does have to guard all this anyway. Tracy doesn't have enough to get its 3k boost, so he has to use it to attack a rear guard. Zane blocks it. Zane perfect guards the Vanguard, so if he has something for that rear, if he can guard a 29k attack, then he has the ability to bring this back. Counterblast. Can't exactly call a unit that can hit the Vanguard. So he calls an Interceptor instead. So to Soul Blast 1 Jewel Knight, which he does have 2 Jewel Knights in his soul, that'll be a 15k Interceptor. Guards for that unit again. I would love to see Zane ride Tetra Drive right here, but he still doesn't have it, so Lambros again. And this is Zane's last chance to do something with this unit. Gonna attack that Interceptor with everything he's got. Especially because everything is hitting for 9k regardless. You can see already his strategy is he wants both Tidal Assaults to not have restood, so that he can restand them, then both be at 19 and both have their restands available, so that he'd have to guard that much. Of course, this is highly... The effectiveness of this is highly dependent on whether or not Zeon has on whether or not Zeon can damage trigger. And considering he has 4 chances to damage trigger, the idea of him doing it is high. There's a critical trigger. He gives it all to Tidal. And then a heal trigger. More to Tidal, and heals 1. So that Tidal has 2 criticals on it, and it's going to restand. So 14 at the Vanguard. It seems like Zeon is saving all of his hand to block the Tidal, which is a good idea considering that it does have 2 criticals. Drops 2 perfect guards in order to keep it. Generation Break 2 is active. And Zahn's triple drive check was not that good to him. His top deck is a grade 3 and he's using it to stride. The question is though, is he going to go for Saint Blow or is he going to go for Samael? And I believe that's what he's looking at. He's counting. I think he's counting his triggers. He has 8 triggers out of deck, 8 still in deck, and I see 20 cards left in deck. So goes for Saint Blow. Uses the counter blast so he can give Saint Blow 5k and give Rachel 5k. So Rachel can now hit a rear guard. It'll gain an additional 6k from its own skill. So 37 plus 5. It'll be hitting for 42k to critical. And Rachel starts by hitting the rear. So it all depends on if Zahn can guard this. And he can't. Heal trigger. Zahn needs to heal in order to survive. And he does! He has Tetra Drive Dragon in hand. Break Ride activate. This is what I've been wanting to see from the very beginning. I kept hinting to it, and now here it is. Tetra Drive Dragon. So it's just a matter of how he wants to do this now. Starts 14 at the Vanguard. And unfortunately, Zeon can't guard this, because he only has 3 cards in hand. He has to discard a card to even be able to guard. Drops a card to get rid of the crit and no guards. No triggers on his side. Critical for Zeon. $15k. Has to go to the Vanguard in order to get the restand skill, which is what he wants. So Counterblast, discard 2. He has to discard a card in order to keep it from having 2 criticals. No guards. Has to heal in order to live through this. And he does not. Zahn wins. Zahn takes it through a 6 heal. Very close game. And even I'll admit that that final Desperation Saint blow pretty much did seal the deal, but Zahn's heal trigger did save him. Good job on both sides, really close match, and we move on to the next game. Zahn wins the next game and it's over.